Hello, my friends. How are you doing? My name is Lauren, and today I'm going to show you how to make two different kind of manicures using a really limited palette and using the two most recent Maniology boxes. So the Box of Gloom and the new MXM. So stick around and I'll show you how. Let's get started. I had quite a lot of requests to show a tutorial on how I did this manicure from my MXM Haunted Reflections unboxing the other day. And I'm not going to do a full tutorial, but I'm going to show you how to do this and then also this because they are very similar. And this is using the new MXM box from September. So this video is going to have spoilers from the Box of Gloom. If you do not want to see spoilers, click away right now, okay? Did you hear me? If you don't want spoilers for the Box of Gloom, click away and come back later because I'm about to show you some of the plates. So other things you're going to need here. This collection from Maniology, it is currently on sale, but you can also use my discount code ZEN10. We're going to need straight up black. I'm going to recommend some kind of like sheer white kind of sparkly thing, something to kind of go along with this. And I did the MXM nails with a sheer gel base, but we're gonna play around with some non-gel just because I know a lot of y'all don't mess with gel. So all the products are gonna be in the description, so check the description for everything here. We're also gonna need some sticky base coat. Here are the plates from MXM. This is 159 and 160. I'm also going to be using M614, M618, and that is it for the plates. So yeah, if you haven't seen these are from Box of Gloom. Super pretty. I think this was the exclusive one. I'm not sure. But that's pretty much the main one I used for this manicure here. All right, let's start with that one. Because these are negative space, I don't need to put down a base. So I'm gonna just use straight up black. And I'm gonna use a good healthy amount here because there's so much empty space on this. I need to make sure I get all the polish in all of those little grooves there. So one thing that makes this look even nicer is to fill in these little gaps because, you know, I'm a pro, but even I get little gaps and stuff on pickups. So they're pretty hard to see, but in my opinion, makes a difference. So you see how there are like little spots here. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the polish and fill those in. And that's just gonna help our final image look very clean. Okay, these are the stars here. We're also going to need white. I recommend BAM white because it's extremely opaque. For the leaves and for this moth, I use Mangrove and Willow. Nice little combo there. So let's start with the leaves. This is such a nice metallic green. And so what I did to just make this a little more interesting, I alternated the colors on each of the stems. So I'll do that one that's closest to the moth, and then I'm going to also do this one that's on the outside. I'm going to leave that one alone. And then I'm going to do the opposite thing here, where I'm going to color in this middle one over here. Like that. And now going in with Willow, I'm going to finish out the rest of these leaves. For the moth body and wings, I use this water droplet or just something kind of blue and sparkly. This really doesn't matter. It's a very small detail. But I also use a jelly for this. So I'm just going to color in these little antennae here. And then I use this CJS 026 kind of coppery, gold, brassy, whatever kind of metallic color here for the body. You could use any color for this you like. You could even use the green again, but I just kind of wanted to go a more gold, warm color in the middle there. So now the fun part, I'm going to take these two polishes here, the pink and the purple, because I've already used quite a lot of green. I'm not going to use this one. And again, I'm just going to alternate. So I'm going to pick the pink to start with on this one line, and then I'll fill in this one here. And for a little extra detail, I'm also going to do this little spot here. These are jellies, so it's a little hard to see if you've colored in all of the spots, all of the spaces. So don't be afraid to go back over there. And it's easier to see if you kind of put it on a black background. If you got it over the white, it kind of disappears, so just be mindful of that. For the little stars and stuff, I decided to use silver birch. It's just a really beautiful silver. This is my favorite silver. So I'm just gonna fill in these. Now here is an important part. I'm gonna take my white, once this jelly here is dry, it's pretty good. I'm just gonna take my white and just brush over all of the pink and purple polish here. And that's gonna make it really stand out. I'm gonna be doing a similar thing using this image here. There. So really fill that in. Fill in our gaps. So basically I'm doing the same thing. I decided to make the flowers a two-tone color. I didn't look this up. I probably should have used like a reference, but it doesn't matter because this is my nails. I can do whatever I want. So I decided to do the bottom parts pink and the top parts purple. So let me fill those in. I also use this brassy color to do the little, what are these called? Stamens? I used Willow for the top of the stem here. And then just to make it a little more interesting, I dragged some of it down over the purple just to sort of make an interesting color transition there. Again, these things are so subtle, but we're all about the details, right? I'm using silver again for the stars. I used Mangrove for these other leaves up here. And this spiderweb part didn't really show up on my nail here, but I used this blue glittery thing again here just to fill in this little spots. And then when that's a little dry, I'm going to take my white again and paint over pretty much all of this. Anywhere where there's a jelly. So the other ones that are different, I'm not going to do this full manicure just so this video isn't super long, but for this image here with the Luna moth, I just did Willow for the top wing and Mangrove for the bottom wing, just to give it a little difference in color there. I did everything else the same. The body is this CJS color. The antenna is blue, the stars are silver, and then I just alternated the pink and the purple and a little bit of the green down there for the flowers. For this nail, I used Mangrove for the background, and then I used this image here. I did not layer it, although you could put the white down first, but honestly, on this one I forgot to do the white background, and this one I did. It's really not that different. So I just picked this up in black, and then I colored in alternating the purple and the pink, and then I did a little green for the leaves down there in Willow, and then just stamp that on there. So that's that one. And that's pretty much it. That is that manicure. I also use this part here for these other moths. Exactly the same. I just alternated the pinks and the purples. So that is how I made this, and it is really beautiful. Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite manicures I've done in a long time. I'm loving it. It's got to come off soon, unfortunately. It's starting to chip a little bit. Well, not really, but you know how I am. I'm just real impatient about all my nail stuff. Gotta move on to the next thing. And in that case, I'm using this image and then this ghosty one here. So I'm gonna put these aside to do my Box of Gloom. And then this one will be for my MXM. So for the ones that I did on Cindy over there, I used this Beetles E232. It is a sheer black. And if you're using press-ons to make this manicure, I do recommend using this because you'll get a little more of that like see-through effect, which I think is cool. So I'm gonna cure that. And I did 2 coats of this sheer black gel. So I know Maniology makes a sheer black, like a regular sheer black. I think it came with an MXM like a long time ago, the like kind of BDSM one, which I did not get. So I don't have that polished, but the one that came in the box is a sheer black, but it's like hella flaky. So I was kind of thinking about like it would probably look better with just a regular sheer black, but because it came with the box and I don't know, just why not? I'm gonna use this instead. So in the last video, somebody asked me to show what it looked like with a matte finish. So here is that with a matte finish over black. So I think that'll look okay. Let's try it. It's gonna be pretty busy, but I think it might look nice. So I'm not gonna put any kind of base down for this. I'm just gonna do a couple coats of this regular sheer, maybe even 3, because this is very much more sheer than the gel. I'm gonna wipe off this inhibition layer with some alcohol. So I don't want that to get on my stamper, but I'm gonna make sure I get all the little fuzzy things off of there. So let me start off with this more complex one. I'm gonna pick it up in straight up black. Let me reset my palette. I'm gonna use this white glittery thing here, which is so pretty. And just quickly color in these ghosts. Let's add another coat of Spectral Shards. Well, maybe 2 will be okay. So now I'm going to use all 3 of these jellies here. Very much the same way as I did the last manicure. And I'm basically just going to pick random cells here that aren't touching each other necessarily. And just start filling those in. If it bleeds through, that's fine. If you go outside the line, that's okay too, because then you'll get even more of a color variation when you're overlapping these jellies. So that's quite a few of the pink. Let's move on to this green. And lastly, we will put our purple. Okay, I think that's good enough. If we miss some, that's fine. And then for our last one, I wanted to pick up this. And this is pretty easy. I'm sure you see where this is going. I decided to kind of make this like green the predominant one. So I filled these in with green. And then I just alternated them. So I'm starting here. And then down here, kind of like a checkerboard. And for this one, let's do purple. I want to add a little embellishment, so I'm going to pick up these little bats too. So for this one, I just colored the moon with the white from the ghosts. I made the bats purple, and then the other part of the moon is green. I have my Box of Gloom images here, so I'm going to put some sticky base coat and make sure I get everything. Don't miss anything, because this is basically a decal. So once that is still sticky, I'm going to take my moth one first. And this is always tricky for me to try to line it up in the center here, so I just try to get the center on the top and the bottom. And then when I do a decal, I like to kind of roll it to the side instead of pulling it straight up, because then you risk these little flaps like kind of folding over. So there we go with one of them. And then on this one, as you can see, I didn't get them centered at all, but whatever. I'm going to try my best here. It might be easier on a tip, but I don't know. Oh, hey, not bad. Pretty good job on that one. It's definitely harder on my real nails, especially because my real nails aren't like perfectly shaped like these are. So I think that looks pretty good. I lined it up pretty nice. I'm proud of that. I'm going to take taking my gel nail here. I'm also going to try to make sure these lines are straight. Go straight down with these. So because this is a sheer black, you can see the black lines on top of it pretty good. It's just kind of subtle, but it shows through. So now I'm going to take my bats and fill in this space here. There we go. And then for our final one, I'm just going to stick with the 2 coats and see. I feel like this is going to be pretty busy, but let's see what happens. I got a little off center there. Well, you win some, you lose some. But I think that looks pretty nice actually on that busy background. So if I was being really finicky about this, which let's say I am, because these are jellies, it's real easy for me to go in on top of this and fill in any of these that I missed. So let's just add a little more color there. You get the idea. And personally, I would wait until these are super dry and do a gel top coat. But again, I know not everybody uses gel, so going in with this smudge-free. So there you go. We got some really beautiful nails using some of the Halloween plates that Maniology just put out, using a pretty limited palette of colors and just some different techniques that make them look completely stunning. I promise you will get compliments on any of these that you decide to make. So let me know what you think about that. I appreciate you joining me today. If you like this video, don't forget to drop a like on it and subscribe if you haven't. About half of y'all that are watching are not subscribed, so I don't put out videos constantly, so it's not going to be real annoying on your feed, but you can be alerted when I drop a new video and we can learn and hang out together. So thank you so much again, my friends. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and until next time. Hello.